Today I'm going to teach you how you can create this insane high energy flash transition inside of Premiere Pro. Let's go. Alright guys, let's get straight into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my project panel. I'm going to click this little new item button and we're going to create a new adjustment layer. Make sure it's the correct size for whatever your video is and drag it onto your project. We're going to trim it down to around 6 to 8 frames. So I'm going to do 4 frames on one side and 4 frames on the other side of the cut. So wherever this cut is, just trim it down to that length. And now we have an 8 frame adjustment layer. We're going to go to our effects panel. We're going to search for the directional blur effect. We're going to apply that. Then we're going to search for the lumetric color effect. We're going to apply that. Then we're going to search for the last one, which is my favorite, which is VR chromatic aberrations. And we're going to apply that as well. Now, what we're going to do first is we are going to turn up the blur length. So I'm going to actually turn off the visibility of these last 2 effects just so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to turn up the blur length to around, let's do like 60 or 70-ish. And now this really depends on which direction you want it. I want it going horizontal, so I'm going to change the direction to 90 degrees, and then I'm going to change the blending mode to screen. Very important. So now you can see we kind of have this like soft hazy blur, motion blur. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on that lumetric color and we're going to create a flash transition. So I'm going to go about like, let's go to the very middle of the clip where it transitions. We're going to hit the drop down on basic correction. We're going to hit a keyframe at exposure and we're going to turn it up to around like 3. Then we're going to go 3-ish or 4 frames to the very beginning, turn it down all the way to 0. And I'm actually just going to put this like maybe 2 frames before the transition, so it kind of like brightens a little bit sooner. And then at the very end of the adjustment layer, we're going to turn the exposure all the way back down to 0 once again. Drag that right there and boom. Now you can see we kind of have this crazy flash transition. One other thing I'm also going to do, going back up here to the directional blur, I'm going to hit a keyframe at the blur length at its highest point right at the transition, so right where we cut between 2 different frames. And then I'm going to go 2 frames before, change that blur length down to 0, and then hit Command C and copy that and go to the very end and paste that as well. So now you can see the blur like increases and decreases along with the flash. Lastly, we are going to turn on our VR chromatic aberrations right here, and you can see that just kind of adds this crazy looking like chroma blur to it. I think it looks really sick. Now the very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my opacity and I'm going to keyframe this out. So I'm going to go to the very middle right here at the highest point. I'm going to hit a keyframe at 100% opacity. I'm going to go to the very end and turn that down to 0%. So that way it kind of like fades out, and we're going to do the same at the beginning too. So 0 to 100 in the middle and then back to 0. And that way we have this insane like really quick flash effect. One other effect that I like to add to this to make it even crazier is I like to apply a noise, and this really just adds some like dope texture to it. I'm going to turn off the color noise right here, and you can see if we zoom in, and now I'm going to turn it up to around like 14 or 20-ish%. We have this like really cool noise texture. You can see it really creates a unique texture and like color palette for really anything that affects on the video. I'm really kind of digging this look right here. One last thing I'm going to do to just make this even more high energy is I'm going to drag on one more adjustment layer. I'm going to trim it down to that same-ish length right there. And now I'm going to go to my effects and presets, and I'm going to search for our Shake It Up V2 pack. Now this is a camera shake pack that we created for Premiere Pro. It contains over 50 camera shakes built for Premiere Pro. All you literally have to do is drag and drop. So I'm going to go over here to my hits. I'm going to take, let's do hit number 4 and apply that, and you can see boom, now we have a camera shake also with the blur. And I would actually put this camera shake right here under the light transition so that the light transition puts the texture above the camera shake. Boom, we have this crazy flash transition with a camera shake. As you can see right here, we have a bunch more camera presets. All I literally have to do is duplicate this adjustment layer right here, and I can apply any camera shake I want. You can see boom, I applied the heavy shake, and the coolest thing is I can just duplicate these adjustment layers by holding Option as many times as I want wherever there's another transition, and boom, we have some instant crazy camera shakes. So if you want to check out this pack, it's available at our website 11%.net. For an exclusive time only, we're actually extending our Black Friday deal, so if you get 2 preset packs, you'll get a 3rd pack entirely for free on us, on the house. So if you want to check it out, all available at the link in the description. Hope you found something useful from this video. If you also want to learn how to create some insane warp transition camera shakes, you can check out this video right here.